What if your customers are trying to find your business online, but instead of finding you, they find your competitors? Now, more than ever, it's time to make sure you have the right SEO to make your business stand out online. Welcome to Go Mind Your Business with Terry Bork, presented by Extreme Marketing Concepts, putting your business in front of the hungry herd of buyers who are looking for you right now. Extreme Marketing Concepts, helping you drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition. And now, here's Terry.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Go Mind Your Business. My name is Terry Bork, and I'm really excited about today's program because we are live for the very first time, and you're actually seeing us on Ustream. I also want to thank Sean Purvis for being with me today. He's our very special guest. He's a great friend and a comedian, as you'll find out, and he also is a person that can help you speak better. So I can learn from him, and I know a lot of our listeners can learn from him as well.
Thank you for having me on the show, Terry.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thanks for joining us today. And I also want to thank Extreme Marketing Concepts for sponsoring our program today. As you know, people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And today we live in a fast online world, and people are no longer using the yellow pages the way that they used to. We have mobile devices now that bring the internet to us no matter where we are in the world. How does your business compete for the new customer? Well, Extreme Marketing Concepts is a local leader in the Tampa Bay area for internet marketing, and we help your customers find you, not your competition. And it's no secret, there's been a paradigm shift in customer behavior, and our customer behavior is forcing businesses to change how they market products and services. And 65% of consumers out there now go online for their information before they make a buying decision. So, how do you look different? Well, if you're new to the internet, Extreme Marketing Concepts can give you honest and candid advice on your best options. And if you're internet savvy, we can review your website and give you tips on improving your marketing efforts. So with that said, I'd like to talk to Sean for a few minutes.
Excellent.
Yes. So Sean Purvis is a presentation mentoring coach. He's also a comedian, like I said before. Now, every single presentation that you give is an opportunity to earn the right to do it again. We'll make sure, or Sean will make sure that the presentations that you deliver are the caliber that you want so that you'll get a call back next time and an opportunity to share what you know. Sean Purvis is a two-time district champion in Toastmasters, and he's competed in the semifinals against 90 speakers from around the world. He's a stand-up comedian and a corporate trainer. And Sean recognizes one simple rule. If you can make your audience laugh, they will learn. Laughter is stimulating and can make even the driest technical information become more palatable. From private roasts to weddings and funerals, Sean has brought the cherished gift of humor to anyone who will listen. So again, Sean, welcome to our show. This is so cool.
So glad to be here, Terry. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. So, Sean, state your business.
Oh, yes, my business. Well, I'm really having trouble finding a name for it, and I'm really glad that I'm here today because this has really pushed me further in my business. What's happened is that through Toastmasters, I've had a wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of great people. And a lot of great people have a lot of great ideas about how to improve their presentations, but they really need somebody to look at them and to go, okay, I've seen hundreds of speakers. How can we make this better? So one of the things I do is I will meet with people, and it can be a 15-minute phone call. It might be 5-hour coaching session. And we will basically tear apart your presentation and reassemble it so that it is something that you are comfortable with, and it's something that will be a solid delivery to the client every time. Now, I don't really have a name for it. I was just kind of doing it. And they're like, oh, well, I want you to be my mentor. And I was like, well, I'll be your mentor. So I've got about, 3 or 4 clients right now, and I'm looking to expand that because I'd love to do it full time. It's a lot of fun. And I'm very careful to make sure that it's not just me doing your presentation. It would be very easy for me to just write your stuff, but that's not you. Together, we uncover what your natural language is and what your natural humor ability is. Because it's a common misconception. People are like, oh, I'm not funny. I'm not funny. Well, you are funny. It's kind of funny that you're saying you're not funny. But we help uncover people's natural ability. And we get it to kind of mesh together. And so I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. So we're gonna
Awesome.
full steam ahead.
All right, cool. So you say you're a presentations mentor. What exactly does that mean?
Well, mentoring, and I'm stealing the word from Toastmasters because it's a wonderful thing. Mentor is it's the old concept of a teacher and a student, or a master and apprentice. I've given a lot of speeches. I've done a lot of speeches. I've been paid for a lot of speeches. So somebody who is not in that arena just yet, and they want to know how to break into it, they want to know what you need to look for, what you need to find out. I'm willing to share with you my knowledge. And just as Robert Coelho, the author of The Alchemist, I want to say it's Paul or Robert. Yeah, last name is Coelho. He talks about the whole master and apprentice relationship. And he said that if you know your path, then walk your path. But if you want somebody to help you walk your path, then go sell your sheep and bring me 10% of the gold. So granted, I won't ask you to sell your sheep, but what I will ask is that for, compensation. And what I like to do is I don't work unless you see me working. So it's not like I'm billing you for hours I'm spending at home doing all this other stuff. We meet together and we do everything live. Now I like to look over your materials ahead of time and get you ready for it. But basically, we're going to sit, we're going to meet, you're going to show me your presentation, and then we're going to see how we can improve it together and how we can add in little things to make it go smoother. PowerPoint's a huge one. A lot of people like PowerPoints, especially for technical demonstrations, because you really need that information. And so many people do PowerPoint wrong. And it truly, there are no wrong answers, but trust me, when it comes to PowerPoint, there are a lot of wrong answers. So basically, that's what it is. I'm just mentoring you to become better at the presentations you're already giving.
Okay, great. So what type of presentations are in your bag of tricks?
I'm glad that you mentioned weddings and funerals. Thank you to my good buddy Joseph, who is no longer with us, because he is the reason I have performed a comedy at a funeral. And you think, well, what really purpose does comedy have at a funeral? Well, it really doesn't, but it does. I went up to New York to just meet a bunch of people of his family that I never met. And God bless him, they let me get up and do my own thing. And I got up and I started cracking jokes about him. Mm-hmm. And it was more of like a roast in memoriam, or a eulogy roast, if you will. But before I got done my 5-10 minutes, everybody in the room was laughing. So it's a lot of fun. I've done funerals, I've done weddings. I do a lot of private roasts. That's very popular. People call me up and so-and-so's 50th birthday is coming up. So can you come and, make him a little uncomfortable? I'm like, well, tell me who he is. And it's always fun because I'll get there and I'll meet somebody and I'm like, well, I don't know you, but sit down because this is going to hurt. And that's a lot of fun. But I've done more of the corporate side. I have a background in corporate training and so forth. So, I mean, really, if you are going to be in front of an audience speaking, then I'm able to help you with what you're doing.
Okay, great. Is there anything in particular that you can share to avoid doing when you're giving presentations? Yes.
One of the first things that I see people do a lot is you lose your power. And this is a very common concept. I'm not breaking any new ground, but the first thing you do is when you stand up in front of an audience, stand up, first of all. Do not sit down. Do not sit down at all. And if you have to sit down, use a stool that is at least 1.5 feet higher than everybody else's seat. Because when you sit down, you lose that power. By standing up, everybody's going, oh, you have the authority. We are now going to listen to you. Now, don't lose that power. Don't turn around. Do not show your back to the audience. Think of it like if you were dealing with a pack of wolves, and you would never take your eyes off of them. You would never turn your back to them, and you would never show weakness. And I know that sounds really aggressive, but if you have the power and you keep the power, then people will listen to you. Think about it. You always listened to your parents because your parents were bigger than you. They were more powerful than you. They had all the resources. They could kick you out of the cave at any time. Mm-hmm. So just make sure that you're not losing that power. And so many times I see presenters get up and they're so strong and they're starting strong, and about 5 minutes in, I don't know if they get tired or if they just get, confused, but they give up their power. And once you give it up, it's hard to get it back. So just keep your power, maintain your power. When you sit down, it's because your presentation is over.
Excellent. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Sean Purvis, who's a presentation mentor. And if you would like to schedule some time with Sean so that he can help you with your presentation, you can reach him at 727-851-1953. Of course, that's after we hop off the line.
Not until at least noon.
At least
you can call me at noon. Don't call me before that. That'll be weird, but yes.
Right. So how long does it take to train somebody to be a better presenter?
Well, it really depends on what you're looking for. Whenever I meet with someone for the first time, and usually it's a phone conversation, usually 10, 15-minute phone conversation, we'll sit down and, we'll just kind of talk. What do you think you need help on? What do you want help on? What are you looking to branch out in? Because a lot of people know their weaknesses. They really just know what they need to work on. And unfortunately, because they are aware of it, they're also conscious of it, and it kind of brings them down a bit. So, that's the first thing we need to knock out of the way is what do you think you are weak at? And then the second thing is just some basic stuff, what you're kind of doing. It helps me to know the information you're providing and where you're providing it. The size of the crowd is this, because you have a different presentation for 15 people than you have for 1,500, and you have to cater it that way. There's a lot more stuff you have to do if you've only got 30 people in a room than you don't have to do when there are 300. So really, it's the first 15, 20-minute phone call will kind of give us an idea of what you need, what you're looking to accomplish, and then we kind of lay out a game plan. And it really depends on you. I mean, we're going to meet, we're going to hit some key goals, and then if you feel we're comfortable, we can move on. If not, we'll need some more time. But I would say the 15-minute interview is a free estimate, if you will, just like the mechanic. You go in, you're like, yeah, my brakes need something, and my tires need something. So 15-minute estimates are free.
Okay.
So they're no problem. But after that, I'd probably schedule about a 2-hour session. We get together, go through your presentation, and we just, kind of go bit by bit. So I would say, those are your first and your second ideas. And then from there, it's up to you.
Okay, terrific. What about for folks who really aren't ready for a full-blown coaching program, but they really would like some tricks and some tips to help them get through that presentation?
Well, one of the things I'm starting, and thanks to my friend Terry here, who has very graciously put me on the right path here, you can sign up for my email list. What I will be doing starting in November is I'll be sending out daily tips, if you will. And these are just little presentation things, kind of like the Don't Lose Your Power. And this is going to be something that's coming out every day. And this is your benefit for belonging to my email subscription and so forth. And of course, my email is me@seanpurvis.com. So, just send me a quick message, tell me what your business is about and so forth, or what you're looking for. And I'll sign you up. And starting November, you'll get those daily tips and so forth. And if you don't like me or you don't like my face, I don't know how, because I'm cute, and not the least bit egotistical. I would always suggest Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a wonderful program. So, Toastmasters.org is a great resource as well.
Okay, awesome. What is your involvement with Toastmasters?
Oh, I'm glad we brought that up. My involvement, it's funny because I got into Toastmasters about 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was eating my lunch, just minding my own business in a nice little quiet area. And a really nice lady came by and she's like, she really thick French accent. She's like, "Oh, don't I remember you from the art show?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah. I put a piece in the art show. We have a employee art show where I used to work." And she's like, "Oh, you should try Toastmasters." I was like, "What? What's that?" I had no idea, never heard of it. And it's really funny because some people have heard of it, but it's a nonprofit organization, so you don't get the money behind the marketing. Like they're not going to drop $5 million to put a 30-second ad on the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. So people have heard about it, for a while, but it's been around since 1920. I mean, Dr. Ralph Smedley started it in the basement of a YMCA, and they've had world competitions every year. And it's just an amazing program. Again, it's nonprofit, international. You've got millions of members worldwide. And I actually had the opportunity a year and a half ago to go to Las Vegas and compete in the semifinals, and it was mind-blowing. You got 2,000 people there, and it was just fantastic. And unfortunately, I didn't get onto the world stage, but that's what I intend to do this year. Thank you very much.
All right.
I'm not going to stop until I get there. So
Perfect.
But yeah, a lot of fun and great organization. I mean, if you've dealt with it, I kind of tell people it's like church for the non-religious. Nothing. Not that it's non-religious, and you can maintain faith inside your Toastmasters and what have you. But every group is different. We've got some groups that are primarily older folks that are looking to, just kind of bond together. And we've got younger clubs. We've got clubs that are all students, some that are doctors, lawyers. I mean, it's just amazing groups, and they cater to the person. And really, Toastmasters has no set formula for who belongs. You just have to be over 18 and, younger than dead, and you can be in the group. So, I would encourage you, Toastmasters.org, try them out, find a local club. And even if you don't find the first club that you love, try another club, because I guarantee you're going to find a completely different flavor. So,
right. Well, I can share that I got involved with Toastmasters because, as a person who speaks to a lot of businesses and as a person who does a lot of webinars, I wanted to speak better. So
Right.
Toastmasters has helped me, because sometimes I get nervous when I talk. Imagine that, right?
nerve.
I know. And I noticed that I have a tendency to get very breathy when I talk and get very anxious inside. So Toastmasters has helped me simmer down just enough to appreciate the excitement that's going on inside of me and not be as breathy. Keep that breathy in control.
Sunday, if you're just tuning in, this isn't weird.
But yeah, so I really enjoy Toastmasters. But you can take my Toastmasters, my level in Toastmasters, and enhance it to the next level so that I can have a greater confidence about myself when I'm speaking more in public.
Right. And Toastmasters is very good. It gives you the experience, but it does not have that one-on-one coaching. I mean, you're probably going to get somebody that'll come along and give you some little things here and there. But if you have a presentation in 30 days, Toastmasters is not going to turn you around in 30 days. Toastmasters is about a year program where you're going to see some remarkable results. But if you need to get there in 30 days, that's when you call me.
Okay, great.
So.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
Very good.
So, I know you're a comedian. So,
No,
yes,
not funny at all.
I know.
No.
So, have you always been funny?
Well, I was born funny, I think. Well, growing up, it was really funny because funny queer, not funny haha. No, it was really funny because I know I'm trying to be really tame for this show because I know you have a conservative crowd, so I'm on my best behavior, nothing but G. And my mom would be proud of the show. She's like, that boy curses too much. No, but when I was young, I was always the class clown. I was always acting out. I always wanted the attention. And, it's funny because we don't really recognize kids that are class clowns. They just want attention. If you give them attention, if you put them in the talent show, if you give them something that, I didn't get into performance arts until I was, well into puberty. And by that time, there was no reaching me at that point. I wanted to be in the performance arts, and my parents just didn't recognize it. I mean, I didn't recognize it myself, and there's no harm, no foul, but I think I would have been a little further along if my parents had gone, that boy will not keep his mouth shut. Let's go ahead and get him a talking job or something. But it was just wonderful. And growing up, my father, I love him to pieces, God rest his soul, but he could really hold anger. He was raised by women, and I love you women. I love you dearly, but you can hold a temper. Thankfully, my current girlfriend can get it and then drop it right away. But most women just hold it and they just stew it. It's like a crock pot of just, I hate you. and every day they're just like, oh, let me remember all the reasons you failed me. And my father was raised by women, so he could hold it for days. And I realized very young that if I could make him laugh, then he would let it go a little bit. So that's what I would do, is I just crack jokes all the time, and people didn't understand. I'm like, really, I have a CD that's called Humor, the Art of Survival. And I'm not kidding. It is truly an art of survival. Because growing up, I didn't want dad to be mad, because, Dad's mad, then the whole household is not doing good.
Right.
So
right.
I had to be the stand-up comedian over, pork and liver. And I was like, oh, that's great. Oh yeah. Those were the great meals. Liver and Brussels sprouts. Those were the absolute, I was like, there is nothing on this plate I want to eat. You have brought me from my happy place to give me unpleasant food.
I think your mom knew mine, because that used to be Tuesday.
Liver. Oh my God. I was so happy. I was so happy. My father finally read an article when I was about 14, and he's like, scientists say you shouldn't eat liver because liver is one of those filtering organs, and all the things that's ever been filtered out of a cow might be in the liver. Maybe I shouldn't feed it to my family. And I'm going, hallelujah, science. Thank you, God. Right. Thank you for having my dad read that article. And I didn't have to eat liver from then on.
So you haven't had it since. You haven't carried on the tradition.
From time to time, I will mistakenly scoop up some liver pate, much to my chagrin. But, it's okay. We get past it. I'm just like, what did that? So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
So. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Our monitor went dark. I don't know. We'll just move on.
Well,
he's messing with us.
I'm hoping that we're still streaming.
Look at him. Just look at him. This is like trial by fire.
All right.
Everything's going to change. Don't let it change.
Hey, are you having a good time on our inaugural
I'm having a
show?
lot of fun.
This is really cool.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, I really, really like it.
You get a lot more, vibrancy. You're just like, oh my God, it's live. Keep going.
I know.
Oh, okay. Do not stop. Do not stop.
So yes, it's a jungle out there, and it's a jungle in here, and we're gonna muddle our way through. All right, so we're speaking with Sean Purvis, who is a presentation mentor, and you can find out more about Sean by visiting his website, which is www.seanpurvis.com, and Sean is spelled SHAWN.
Yes.
And Purvis, P like Paul, U-R, V like Victor, I-S. So
good.
it's SeanPurvis.com. So you have some great tips and inspirational things that you're going to be popping out on your website. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on over there.
Well, my website right now, I've kind of struggled with this, honestly, because I've worked with my website for a while. I've had it for probably a year and a half. And for a large part of that, I just kind of let it sit and kind of hang out. And I really wasn't doing much with it. But a friend of mine was like, oh, you know what? Your website's kind of boring. I was like, oh, well, we don't want that. So I went and I spent like an entire day revamping it and changing all the colors, changing all the graphics and so forth. And then I really didn't have any else to do with it. So then I started writing a blog. So if you go to SeanPurvis.com, and there are some religious and some political blogs on there, and I send my viewpoint. You might find it interesting. You might not. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I really don't care what your opinion is. I can work with anyone, even if I don't, necessarily agree with your presentation. But what I will be doing, and I mean, it's true.
It's true.
I mean, it's true. I mean, I'm not going to, I don't want to get into politics here, but I'm not voting for either party right now. Gary Johnson, 2012. Sorry. That was my own political agenda right there. But, I really don't, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And that's the beauty of presentations is in mentoring is that whatever you're doing, I just want to make you better at what you're doing.
Okay.
So what my website will see is you're going to see a lot of things that are editorials, some things that are just fun. I recently started a weight loss program, and
Good
insane.
For you. Me
Thank
too.
you. Thank
Yes,
you.
We're doing our best to
Yeah,
get it out.
I know. No physical results, except it hurts whenever I try to go do something. I'm
Okay,
like,
well then don't do that.
yeah,
Well, that's supposed to be exciting though. When you
it is.
can like.
No, it is. It is because you feel your body again. You're like, oh, that hurts. That feels. Oh, I must have done something good. Let me lift something. I'm telling you, a friend of mine, Dave Frank, and he's actually got a show here on Monday nights. Well, not on this station, but he's got a radio show, and he's a big guy, and we're both comedians, and we just said in passing, we're like, man, we should drop a few pounds. We're not getting any younger. We should probably take better care of ourselves. He's like, dude, you want to go to the gym? I'm like, sure. He's like, all right, Monday morning. So Monday morning at 6 a.m. at 5:30, my alarm goes off, and I'm going, what am I doing? Am I mad? So I didn't even think. And I actually go through this routine. It's like, Sean, don't think. Put on your clothes. Don't think. Put on your clothes. Go to the gym. Put on your clothes. Go to the gym. You're walking out the door. Go to the gym. Go to the gym. Go to the gym. And by the time you realize that you're out of bed, you're already at the gym doing your first rep. And you're like, oh, okay, this is good. So that was just, just incredible. So I go into that on my website as well. I tell you about my journey. I've lost like 7 pounds officially.
Yay.
Yes, thank you. I'm letting Weight Watchers track me. So
All right, well that's cool. I keep saying to myself when I do working out, I keep saying there's no better feeling than the way I feel when it's over. And I'm not quite sure if that's because I feel good that it's over or if it's because I know I've just done something really amazing for my body. I haven't figured out which one it is yet, but I always enjoy the way I feel.
No, that's a good
when
thing.
it's over.
That's a really good thing. No, I've a friend of mine who is a laughter yoga instructor. She said that the easiest way to relax is to tense up and then let go. And it's funny because when you think about it, it sounds simple enough, but we don't do it consciously. If you sit there and you try to tighten every muscle in your body and then you just let go, you're like, oh wow, that's very relaxing.
Right.
And that's what exercise is. And I think we've lost that. I was thinking about that as I'm doing reps this morning because, once your blood starts pumping, your brain goes, oh, here, Sean, here are 30 thoughts you haven't thought about all day. Now that the rest of us is awake, now the brain's going. And I'm going, we used to be farmers and miners and we used to work really hard all day. And now we all sit behind a desk and we all sit in machinery. And I'm going, that's what happened. That's what really happened is that as human beings, we're not designed to sit in a desk for 8 hours a day. Right. We are designed to get out and to move. I mean, if you look at the animal kingdom and people are always like, I want to be in shape. I want to be in shape. It's like, look, you're a cow. You want to be a tiger, but you want to be a cow. So you have to look at a tiger lifestyle and you have to look at a cow's lifestyle. A cow is what most Americans do. They sit around and go, they're not moving and they're just eating. They're just constantly eating. But everybody wants to look like a tiger. And if you want to look like a tiger, you have to do what a tiger does. Tiger runs. If you're hungry, fine. There goes your food.
Right.
Go find it.
There's lunch. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and a lot of that stuff, I just, I put on my website and I just love it. So I'm sorry if I offend anybody out there because I've got some strong political stuff on there, but just skip over it. Just go to the
your
tips.
Opinion. It's all good, right? The tips are out there.
I'll put a whole category on the right just for speaking tips, and then you can just skip over the other mumbo jumbo.
Cool. So, when do you have to be funny to be a speaker, or is that the only way that people can learn through you is to be funny, or can you? If I'm a very serious person and I don't know how to be unuptight, can you help me be not so dry?
Well, let's say humor is always a good idea. Now, is everything funny? And I actually do this in my workshops. I do workshops through Toastmasters, and that's my way of giving back to the organization because they've given me so much, and I've met so many wonderful people. I will, twice a year, I'll actually do a comedy presentation. I think I'm actually doing one in November.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, coming up. But basically I say, all right, everybody, what's not funny? And I always have somebody raise their hand. They'd be like, domestic abuse. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a tough one. But then I think, okay, the things that aren't funny in our lives, we really have to examine them and go, okay, where can we see the humor near it or in it or about it? So think about a hard situation, somebody in your life that has passed, a funeral. A funeral is not really a time for comedy, but if you go to a funeral, I bet you will find a lot of laughs, especially when people are getting up and they're giving their eulogy. Because when you stand up and you say, okay, oh my God, this person's dead. This person's dead. Okay, that's sad. We all understand they're dead. Let it go. But if you stand up there and you instead say, you know what? I remember one time when my father was teaching me how to ride a bike. And no matter what he did, I would always fall, and then everybody's laughing. And everybody's laughing because it's not that death is funny. It's that the understanding of the process of life and that we will go on is humorous. Humor is just surprise that you judge to be safe. The surprise that you judge to be unsafe is terror, and that's when you start screaming. Right. And when that's why so many people laugh at horror movies, and I think it's so grisly when you look at it first. When you start watching a horror movie, you're like, I can't believe you're laughing. He just slacked him against the tree and beat him to death. And it's like, well, it's not that it's funny. It's just that it's not happening to us.
Right.
And really, tragedy plus distance equals comedy, and, very old formula. And so even if you're giving a very serious presentation, you should try to at least attempt humor. And if you're not trying to be funny at all, you have to get a reaction out of the crowd. You should either make them laugh, you should make them cry, you should make them cheer, you should make them gasp. Audience participation needs to happen in your presentation. Otherwise, you're not having the conversation that you have to have as a presenter. So if it's not laughter, it needs to be something. But humor is very easy. Humor is easy to teach. It's easy to hold on to, and I don't care who you are. I would really challenge you. And this is
Oh,
important.
here we go. We're laying it down right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I layeth the smacketh down on Go Mind Your Business with Terry Bork. Sean Purvis says, if you think you are not funny, you come to me, I will force the funny out of you. That's right. I'm writing that down. That's my new slogan. I will force the funny out of you.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. That might be tip 1 on November 1st. I'm just saying. But yeah, absolutely. I would be hard pressed to find anybody that's not funny.
Well, the human experience is what we're captured to as people. As a marketer, we share with our clients all the time. All things being equal,
right.
People buy from people.
Yeah.
All things being unequal, people still buy from people.
That's true.
So developing any type of camaraderie back and forth, that know, like, and trust relationship. Shared, how do you do that? Well, those shared experiences that people can relate to, that touch close to home. Who doesn't know the Folgers commercial at the holidays when, the son comes home from the service or college, or, just whatever kind of commercial,
right.
dad dancing with his daughter at weddings. I mean, we're all moved and touched and inspired by those type of things. And giving your presentation, you want to find that factor that's going to identify with your audience so that you can help them have that feeling, emotional, human experience.
Right.
So,
how many
and
times,
laughter makes you feel good.
No, that is. You're very correct. The laughter does make you feel good. How many times have you ever looked at somebody and thought, wow, they're like an automaton? And what a great word. It just means
awesome word of the day.
It's a great word. Automaton it just means robot. And if you've ever looked at somebody and thought, my God, they're a robot, then what you're doing is exactly what you said. You're not being a person in front of them. You have to be human. And humans rely on humans. It's a basic survival technique. We understand that no matter what you are to be trusted more than the machine behind you. Nothing wrong with robots. So one day when they take us over, remember, I said nothing wrong with robots. But you're right. People need people. So if you're presenting and you become standard and dry, I have a lot of people that work with tax information and tax information. Oh my God.
Oh, that's the most exciting topic. Well, you sound like you're from the Peanuts
exactly.
now.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of Peanuts is that it was because children don't care. Children don't care most of what parents say unless they relate to them on a personal basis. So if you're getting up and you're giving your presentations and people are coming out of there going, not only do I not care about any of the information you've said, I wouldn't step over you. I wouldn't knock a bottle of gasoline on you if you were on fire. I mean, these are people that would not have coffee with you. If you can't have coffee with somebody, if you'd like, my God, Terry, I'd like to go out and, have a drink together, have some coffee. If you can't say that, then why would I care about anything you had to say? I mean, truly, if I don't like you as a person, and that's the beauty of humor, is that humor helps people to like you. And if people like you, they listen, and that's the key.
Right. What about jokes that go wrong during your presentation? Let's talk about that. That's the most painful experience. So how can you overcome that when you are standing there and you're waiting for the bus stop? However, they look at you like, wow, you just hit me with a ton of bricks. And
where's the bus?
Like, oh, wow, that's awful.
Yeah.
Throw the vegetables at me. So
I like vegetables.
What do we
so
do?
throw them all you
Brussels sprouts too, right? No.
No, I do broccoli. I do broccoli
okay,
now.
it's pretty close. It's green.
Man. Okay, so when a joke goes wrong, and it will go wrong, and this is another thing that you can learn by hanging out with Sean Purvis, Presentations, Humorous Coaching. See, I've already added words. I don't know.
It's materializing.
All I know is my name. My parents gave me my name, Sean Purvis. You come to me. We'll figure it out. But if a joke goes wrong, and I tell you, I have to defer to the master of the joke going wrong. If you get to watch, I think it's called The Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn.
Okay, yes.
Okay. He is the master of the save. The save is basically a technique where you go, hey, you know what? I thought all night this joke would go really well, but guess what? I obviously did not tell it right, or you didn't hear it right, because your audience is looking at you going, and where's the punchline? And you go, I gave it to you a second ago. And nothing. And it's kind of like my mom handing me that plate of liver and Brussels sprouts where she goes, here, food. And I'm going, there's no food on there. So what happens is basically you have to have the save. And the save is where you go, ooh, note to self, stay in college. It's one of those things where you literally get on the side of the audience and you basically tell them how bad you just sucked. And it was really bad. Sorry for the vernacular there. How bad you just were awful. How awful
yeah.
how tanked. Thank you.
Yes.
How awful you just were. And the beauty of that is that you're basically saying, wow, that joke was awful. And I'm going to try to say it in a humorous way so that you don't think I'm up here just tearing myself apart. So, I mean, really, if you watch Greg Kilborn, he is just a masterful, and I could just watch him for hours because they're not even his jokes. I mean, he has a whole team of writers and they're writing jokes and they're really crazy and they're off the wall. And he's like, oh, that's good, isn't it? And the crowd goes, nothing, just crickets. And he's like, wow, it's a bunch of, it's bollocks, isn't it? Sorry to all of our British listeners. But yeah, the save is very good. And it's something I review on my CD, Humor, The Art of Survival.
Okay, so tell us a little
Cha-ching.
bit about Humor, The Art of Survival by Sean Purvis. Where can we get that? And tell us a little bit more about it.
I'm so glad you asked, Terry. These are great lead-ins.
Is it on your website?
It is on my website. And
Right.
if you go to my website, I have this really cool theme on there that looks like you're looking at like a tablet.
Yes,
or
I saw
notebook.
that. It was really cool.
Very
Looked like
cool.
my iPad.
It is very
Yeah.
cool. And
Easy to navigate.
it's very nice. It's very big, chunky buttons, and everything's easy to find. And you got a bunch of rollover windows and what have you. If you go to my website and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see my shameless PayPal buttons, and you can use PayPal or all forms of major credit card, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover.
Oh.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, I had a job that's all I said all night. Now, if you go onto there, you'll actually see a little drop-down menu, and you can see my CD there, Art of the Humor Survival. I can either ship you an actual CD if you're into that, or if you'd like, you get a little price break on it if you just do the MP3s. I can send you the MP3s. But wonderful thing, my friend Joseph actually recorded the intro, so I always have that piece of him with me. So you actually get to hear his intro. But I go step by step through some basic humor principles, and I call them tools in your basket of survival, if you will. And we run over some basic tips, and it's very methodic. It goes step by step. And it's a great way to kind of start the humor process without having to commit to lessons. And it's just to kind of re-angle, how you're thinking about humor. Humor is not that complicated. There are a lot of sources for humor, but most of it is life. Life is the best teacher of humor. Now, if you go on my website below the CD, if you'd like to pick that up.
And that's at SeanPurvis.com.
That's at SeanPurvis.com.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. What was that? And this is another project I had for Toastmasters. They said do a sales presentation. So I turned my name into a sales pitch. So it's Shawn, SHAWN, which is sharing hope activates want and need.
Ooh.
Oh, yes. And then Purvis, proving usefulness raises value, increases sharing. Oh, yeah. Now I have a dirty version I do out of comedy, but we won't talk about that.
No, we're gonna have to go see a show, and you'll tell us about
yes,
that in
indeed.
a minute. Okay. So go ahead. Tell us more about the CD.
Well, the CD, a wonderful thing. I actually recorded it in a place called the Whiskey Kitten Studio. It was this guy's converted. I know, Whiskey Kitten. You never think about it. You're like, the heck does that have to do with anything? A really nice guy, and I hope he hears the plug, and I hope I get more free airtime. But really nice. He converted his garage. Very, very upstanding guys. Very, and Joseph was actually there with me, and he was my mentor to do that CD, because I'm sitting there and I'm just like, all right, everybody. He's like, seriously, stand up, first of all. And he taught me a lot of these principles that I share with people, and he, and he got it from, life and from Toastmasters as well. But he made me record. He's like, that's great. Let's do it again. I'm like, I don't want to do it again. He's like, that's great. Now do it again. I was like, oh man. So what you get, the CD, I sound like this all the time because I am so ready to give you the information. So it's so much fun. So trust me, you will feel the energy, and just know that Joseph Miller was right next to me, just beating the best out of me that could happen.
Awesome.
That's so wonderful.
Right. Is there
But
any special tips on that CD that maybe we can share? Maybe one tip with our audience.
well, I actually gave you the save. That's
Oh, the
the
save.
one thing.
Okay, the
Yeah, that's one
save.
of my advanced
Okay.
tricks.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'll give you another one.
Okay, yeah.
I'll give you
Yeah,
another one.
wait, does the audience want to hear more?
Of course.
Yes, they
Does the
want to hear
audience wanna
more. Yes, I'm
Look at
watching.
him. Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want more. I
You
understand.
do. We want to give
It's
you
not a
one more
problem.
free one. We're going to give it to
One-
you for free
one
from
more.
SeanPurvis.com.
One more free one. All right, one more free one.
All right.
Okay.
I'm twisting your arm. Go
All right,
ahead.
so this is it. The basis is a metaphor, and metaphor is simply saying something is like something else, and this is the principle of an analogy, if you will. You're basically telling people you're building a relationship. So, for example, I love to use the classic, the celebrity, and then an event. So go ahead and think of a celebrity. Just any celebrity off the top of your head.
Did you want me to pick one?
Yes, I'd like you to pick a celebrity.
Oh, great.
Who's the first one that comes to mind?
So many.
Just anyone. Just try. Just try. Just pull one out of your hat. What's the last movie you watched?
Well, I'm drawing a blank. Now, give me a celebrity that you like to use as an example.
All right, fine. We'll use Charlie Sheen.
Okay,
'cause
Charlie Sheen
is good. Okay.
He was
Now-
the first one that came to mind, but
Okay.
I didn't know if it was so safe.
Now, what would you say? Where would you never expect Charlie Sheen to be?
Church.
Church. Okay, good. There you go. All right. So now you have established a relationship. So you can say anything. So let's say something in your life is very weird. Like, for example, if you come to Florida, there's a wonderful grocery store called Publix, and I love Publix. Don't get me wrong. They're absolutely the tops in customer service. But for some reason, somebody in Publix thought it was brilliant to put a weight scale at the front of a grocery store. Now, folks, I'm a fat guy. I understand
Are
I'm
you
fat.
standing on that scale at Publix?
I could stand on the scale, but it's not going to register me. You get my drift?
Okay.
It don't go past 300.
Okay.
So I thought it was hilarious. And then everybody around me is just so excited. In fact, Joseph, he would always get on the scale. He'd be like, let's check our weight. And I'm like, I can't. So I wanted to express to people, this is ridiculous. Why would you have a weight scale at the front of a grocery store? That's like putting Charlie Sheen at the front of a church.
Okay.
You
Oh,
see?
there you go.
So sometimes in humor, you're trying to build that analogy and you're trying to show people how ridiculous it is. But sometimes your thought process isn't so obvious. So what you can use is another relationship that is so obvious. So then you draw that correlation, and what you're actually doing, you're complimenting the audience because you're allowing them to think for themselves and to arrive at the same conclusion. And when you do that and you do it masterfully enough, they'll just bust out into laughter because now we're thinking alike. And comedy is the same thing, whether you're selling a product, whether you're selling humor, whether you're just selling yourself. You have to have the crowd like you. If they don't like you, they're not going to laugh at you.
Right.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. So, it cuts both ways. I love it.
Okay. I know you talk a lot about humor. Let's switch it up a little bit. I know you do listings. I saw a listing for tarot.
Yes,
It's a very
tarot.
different side of Sean Purvis.
Yes.
So are you psychic? Well, tell me about the tarot and how you use it.
Well, first of all, the tarot deck have been around for hundreds of years. Now, it was so fascinating because I recently worked at a place who it was a psychic hotline. Yes, make all the jokes you will.
Really worked at
yes.
the psychic. Were you a psychic?
I was not a psychic. No.
Was that Miss Cleo? Yeah.
No, it was not Miss Cleo, but it might as well have been.
Okay.
But I worked for a local place, and it's a psychic hotline, and whether you believe in it or not, whatever. But as part of my job, I really wanted to know about this, so I studied it. And one of the things they do is tarot cards. Now, this is something called divination, and it's when you use physical items to figure out what the will of the universe is. So I thought I'd study the cards. It would make me better at my job trying to, sell time on the psychic network. Well, I found a tarot card deck, and I just fell in love with it. I mean, it's so fascinating. I started reading books about them. And even Carl Jung, the famous psychiatrist, did a whole book about the archetypes that are found in the tarot deck. And I've done readings for people, and it's so funny because people will just look at you and they're like, oh my God, how did you know that? And I'm like, I don't. And that's the beauty of it, is that again, belief or not belief, I claim no psychic ability. I just think it's a fascinating thing. A lot of people call it a poor man's psychiatry, if you will. Basically, we pull up a bunch of different things, and I tell you the relationship and what the cards say, and typically you fill in the blanks. It's a lot like astrology. When you, like, Leo says it's going to have a good day today. I'm having a good day today. Yes. It's like, whoa, how'd you know? You will meet someone named Terry. Oh my goodness. So, again, I don't claim to be psychic, and I'm not trying to mock it. What I will do is I will give you a tarot reading if you want, and I'll go, and I'm pretty savvy. I've got a pretty good success rate. And at the same time, I'll actually explain how it works. And, I can even teach somebody how to do it. I think it's an educational thing. And I was raised very much to stay away from things like this. But as I studied it, I'm like, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's no card that goes, oh, by the way,
It's the death card.
you're found. And the death card doesn't even mean death. That's the beauty of it. The death card just means a changing of a chapter. The 7 of Swords, however, I think it is. I think 8 of Swords. So, I mean, it just a fascinating thing. So, if I can do it for parties, if you'd like, I can come out and I can do it. It's very fun. And if you want me to get dressed up and you want me to do the voice, I will be the amazing Sean. And
Oh my goodness.
I will look into your future, and I'll, no disrespect, but it's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Oh, we have like a new medium. We have the
absolutely.
medium of Tampa.
We have a new medium. Come to me. I have your concerns. Yes.
So you never know what's going to happen on Go Mind Your Business. I'll tell you what.
Absolutely.
Because it sounds like you're going to mind everybody's business. You got the cards.
I know your
you
business.
hold the cards.
Yes, Terry, go ahead and speak.
Right. Well, that's good. Now, do you feel that like the cards can help somebody with speaking, or are they just totally unrelated, or is it the power of suggestion? You can say the cards tell me that you're going to be a good speaker.
Well, honestly, if you need a pep talk, there are a lot of other ways that we can pep talk you through stuff. I actually helped a good friend of mine get through a process where she had to go basically yell at her boss. And her boss was, very hard on her and just kept bringing her down. And she's like, look, I want to go talk. I have to talk to my boss because otherwise I'm either going to get fired or I'm going to have to quit. And neither one of those are good opportunities. So I said, look, if you want to go in and talk to your boss, this is how we're going to do it. And I walked her through step by step. And there are just little steps. Like, again, don't take your eyes off. Don't sit down. You are basically going in and you are the animal, you are the creature. So there are a lot of positive things you can do to help make you a better speaker. Tarot cards, whatever. If you want me to see in the cards that you're a better speaker, boom, look at that. Look at that. The better speaker card. Congratulations. I think a lot more happens with, sometimes people need that push. So
Okay.
that's
Perfect.
good.
So, any comedy shows coming up for you soon?
Oh, yes, indeed. I'm so excited. We're doing a show this Friday. A couple of the big, comedy tends to attract big people. And I'm just going to say, I've been in comedy a long time and there are a lot of fat comedians. I'm just going to call them fat. I'm just going to call how it is. I'm fat. I have no trouble with that. That's how it is. One of my favorite comedians, John Panette, really big guy. And he went on the South Beach diet and lost like 50 pounds. I'm like, no. So myself, there's another comedian, local comedian, J.T. Byrne. There's also David Frank, Maureen Sullivan, and not a big guy at all, Dave Hines is coming out there. And let me clarify, Maureen Sullivan is not a big comic. She's actually lost a lot of weight recently. But the nice thing is that, except for Dave Hines, because if he loses any more weight, he's just going to disappear. The rest of us, are really committing to our health, and we're really trying to get in. So we call ourselves the Cholesterols of Comedy, but we're going to have to change that name soon because, we're no longer chunky. So it's going to be like the skinnies.
You have the skinny on comedy.
Funny.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, can you see me behind the mic stand? No? Okay, I'll put it over here.
Oh, goodness. So where are you going to be?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
We're
you're
gonna
okay.
be at Jack's Joint. It was the former Coconuts Clearwater Coconuts. It's at 2950 Gulf to Bay in Clearwater, and we're going to be there Friday night at 8:00. The tickets are $10 in advance or $12 at the door. If you call me 727-851-1953 and enter and tell me that you heard about me on Go Mind Your Business, what I will do is I will give you 2 tickets for $15. So normally they're
Wow,
$10.
thank you.
But we're gonna knock off. We're gonna give the second person half price.
Excellent. Wow.
Waka waka.
You call Sean; he'll be available after.
Yes, indeed, and
not too long from now.
and if you don't reach me, just leave a voicemail or leave a text. I love text. Voicemail. You should give my phone a ring just to hear my voicemail. They're like, don't answer. I want to hear your voicemail. I was like, okay.
Are you changing that all the time? Is it
No,
Is it full of comedy or?
I found the formula. I found the perfect formula, and I'm not changing it. A friend of mine said you should always change it. I'm like, I've had so many people come back and say they love my voicemail. That it just is. So we'll leave that as a Easter egg there for you. 727-851-1953.
Beautiful.
Blow it up accordingly. So there you go.
Okay, you're ringing now. I'm watching the calls come in.
Whoa, my
Are we going to
God.
be able to handle all of them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We shall see.
So that's
I'm
very
just not gonna
exciting.
answer. I'm just not going to answer for the next week.
It's okay. No. Next week they're not going to be able to see the show on Friday night. So yeah.
Yes.
But very, very fun. Great. So where are you headed after our interview today?
Well, this is the amazing thing. On top of going to the gym every morning for an hour, I have a new part-time job, and this is
Very nice.
As I'm waiting for all of my students to roll in and the big bucks, we have to make money the old-fashioned way. We have to beg for it. Now,
no, you're not standing on the corner.
No, I'm not standing on the corner and begging, but I am standing on the corner. I actually have a new job.
Okay.
I am one of those sign spinners. The people who stand on the side of the road and they shake the sign.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good friend of mine.
Spinning for dollars.
Yes, spinning for dollars. A good friend of mine, Jane Strong, is the owner of Happy Feet Plus.
Okay.
And there's about 4 or 5 stores in the local area. A really great person. In fact, maybe a next time guest. But she very graciously allowed me to come out there and work. So what it allows me to do, I can still see clients in the morning. I can still see clients at night. I make a few extra bucks in the middle of the day, and I get some fresh air, and I get a lot of exercise. Because let me tell you, that's 4 hours of low intensity cardio. I'm just
Right?
like, moving along. So if you're headed southbound from on 19 between Curlew and right before you hit Countryside, if you see a big guy out there between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., that's me. Shaking my side.
Awesome. Very good. Good. You're a sign shaker. Very
I'm a sign
cool.
shaker.
You dancing too? Putting on some
I dance. I'm
tunes
trying
and-
some new tricks. There's a lot of stuff online. They have like the World Sign Spinning Championships.
Oh.
So I've been trying some twirls and stuff, and
Really?
I've bruised myself.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, wow.
There really is.
Okay.
It's put on a company called Arrow, Arrow Marketing, and they do all
Okay.
these sign spinning and stuff.
Oh,
so it's
neat.
wild.
Very,
Yeah.
very cool. Very
Like,
excellent.
Modern day hacky sack.
Yeah. Awesome.
So.
Very cool. So anything else you want to talk to us about really, speaking, improving your speaking, anything people can really do to take a deep breath other than that and get through it?
Yes, call me. Call me now. Now, really, the thing about speaking, and I, if you learn this, you don't need any coaching, you don't need any mentoring, and you have truly achieved the secret of life, is if you can look into an audience and you realize that everyone in your audience is no different than you. There's nothing scary. There's nothing terrifying. They are simply you sitting there 100 times or 1,000 times, and all they want out of you is the very best you can bring them.
Mm-hmm.
And as a presenter, if you understand that, if you have the weight of that responsibility firmly in your grasp, you will never disappoint a single audience.
Wow. Excellent.
So.
Cool.
But yeah, but I want to thank you
Good.
for having me on today.
Yeah,
That was
no,
awesome.
I'm really excited that we had an opportunity to get together and to chat. And, I think all of us at some point in our careers have to talk to people, whether you're sales and you're talking to your prospective clients or your current clients, or you have to give that presentation in front of, your colleagues at work or other areas. You need to learn how to present yourself in a much better way. And I'm really excited that you were able to share with us today and tell us more about how they can benefit from, using a little bit of comedy, that they can get some material from you off your website at SeanPurvis.com, or they can actually get some coaching from you directly and by calling you at 727-851-1953.
Oh, yeah.
And they can get to know you a little bit in a different way just by attending one of your comedy shows. So
Yes, this
you're
Friday.
just this Friday, absolutely.
This Friday, 8 o'clock,
Yeah,
Daily
do you
Choice.
like that? I'm wrapping it all up
I like
for
that.
you with
That's
a
good.
really cool bow.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Let me just say, if you're a local business owner and you really want someone to mind your business, check out Terry Bork on Go Mind Your Business here on allaboutyourbusiness.com.
There we go.
There we
Wow, very nice plug.
Anytime. I also do voiceover work.
Yes.
Sorry, last
I
slide.
know you have a really great voice. I'm really excited
Thank
to
you.
hear it. It conveys very well.
That has been
So,
fun.
and I want to thank Extreme Marketing Concepts for sponsoring our program today.
Indeed.
They help put the hungry herd of buyers who are currently looking for your goods and services right in your business's way and not in front of the competitor. So we work really hard at doing that, talk about us like we're third person.
Indeed, a third person.
Right. So thank you so much again for joining our program today.
pleasure.
We're going to wrap it up now and wish you all a very happy day, and we'll see you next time on Go Mind Your Business. I'm Terry Bork. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Go Mind Your Business with Terry Bork, presented by Extreme Marketing Concepts. If you want to drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition, find out how by visiting our website, www.extrememarketingconcepts.com. And join Terry next time for another episode of Go Mind Your Business.